What's going on, YouTube? We back at it again with another one. Um, I got this reaction. I got this video today that I want to react to, um, and I want y'all to check it out with me. Y'all know I'm gonna get straight into it. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, and let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Make sure y'all give me y'all opinion, y'all true, honest, authentic opinion, man. Let's get right into it, though.
Mommies out there, I know that you are hurt that your child's father is no longer in your life or your children's life, but that is okay. I know you're probably sitting here watching them dive into new relationships, move on with a new girl who don't have no kids, or simply just live your life as if, you know what I'm saying, you and your children do not exist. Remember, that is okay. Because let's be real, he ain't doing nothing but hurting himself and his future child who's going to get older. And just know that you're better off without him. Why? Because he is not spending no time healing. He just found a new emotional band-aid who doesn't nag or tell him when he's wrong or hold him accountable. 2, he's running from discomfort. Men do not like to be uncomfortable. They like what's familiar. Real emotional, intelligent conversations scare them. They feel trapped, and instead of facing their fears and communicating, they run. And they'll start over new with somebody who doesn't expect what you expected out of them. And another thing, it's not you, it's them. When you had that baby, you ultimately had to change the whole trajectory of your life, and you did just that. He did not have the capacity to do that. His inability to love deeply and have a connection with you after you just gave birth to his baby is just a reflection that he didn't know your worth and he wasn't worth it. Remember, you didn't fail. They were just incapable of loving you deeper than the surface. And last but not least, women, we embody change. Men are subjective to change. Men will repeat the same cycle. Why? Because like I said prior to, they like to feel comfortable. Just like they ran away from you, they'll eventually run away from the next person if they start to do the same thing that you did to them. So ladies, single mommies, remember, you are not missing out. You are actually healing from what they refuse to face. Remember that, girl. To the single mom.
So I'm gonna start by saying, of course, this is her opinion, right? I'm not gonna sit over here and say that she wrong or anything like that because it's her perspective, it's her opinion. Um, Now, what I will do though is give my opinion, and I'm gonna do it the authentic way, right? And I'm gonna be real with you. I hear babies in the background. You know what I mean? She is speaking on this from a perspective of her own perspective, and probably coming from a hurt place, more than likely. You know what I mean? If we gonna be real, um, and I'm gonna be honest that basically what I took from what she was saying was I believe she was basically trying to say that men lack accountability. You know what I mean? Like, and she basically tried to paint it towards like, women are emotionally intelligent, and men run from men like to be comfortable and they run from uncomfortable situations and all this type of this and that and the third. I completely disagree. I'm not gonna say she's wrong. It's her opinion, but I disagree wholeheartedly, and I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. Right? Men live a different life than women do, right? Men are forced to be accountable for everything. It does everything that they do, they're forced to be accountable for it. It doesn't matter what it is. A man cannot run from accountability. Even if a man doesn't want to be held accountable, he's still going to be held accountable regardless. I don't care what you think. All men are forced to be held accountable at some point in their life. He cannot skirt accountability. Women can, right? Because women can have always somebody come in and save them. Men are unable to skirt accountability. That's just what it is. Okay? That's first, right? Now, I want to speak on what she said about emotional intelligence, right? What is if you ask most women, right, what is emotional intelligence, Right? Most women cannot define to you what emotional intelligence is. They just think because they are emotional creatures that makes them emotionally intelligent. But I can explain to you what real emotional intelligence means, right? Emotional intelligence means that you understand your emotions and you're tapped in with your emotions enough to be able to control them. They don't control you, you control your emotions. It's rare that I meet women. I can't even think of any off the top of my head that can do this, right? Because women are emotional creatures. I don't know if I've ever met a woman that can control her emotions. Some can control them better than others, but I don't think I've ever met a woman who can control her emotions fully, where she just like hardly ever gets emotional, right? Most women that I know do get emotional, some more than others, right? Because they're emotional creatures. I'm not saying that makes them bad or good, or I understand that that's a part of a woman, is she's going to be emotional. She's an emotional creature. That's a part of her biological makeup, right? Um, Emotional intelligence is actually being able to control your emotions, right? Most men are emotionally intelligent. If they were not emotionally intelligent, you would have way more killings than you have, right? Like you got to think, you wouldn't be able to walk the streets if men were not emotionally intelligent, because when men are emotional, we kill and destroy. That's what we do when we emotional, right? We kill and we destroy. That's what we do. So you got to understand, most men are inherently gonna have to be emotionally intelligent. Otherwise, you're gonna end up in prison. You know, you might end up dead. Or you're gonna have an extensive criminal history even if you're not in prison. You know what I mean? Because that's where they send emotional men, right? To prison or to a crazy house. That's where you're gonna end up at. So as a man, you forced to be emotionally intelligent. I don't know why women think that they're emotionally intelligent just because they can sit in front of your face. She just said, we gonna reference something she said as far as they want to go get another woman that doesn't nag and doesn't do this and that. If you nagging him, he probably should go get another woman. Now, mind you, she was speaking about men. I believe, from what I can decipher, that she was speaking about men that, um, you know, left their family completely. Like they don't even deal with the children at all. They don't deal with the mother. They don't deal with the children. They just completely left the family completely. Right, which I don't agree with. I think that you should never leave your children. Right, I think that even if you had children with women and you made a mistake and she's just unbearable. Right, because I don't agree with staying with a woman just because you had children with her. Right, I think that don't go off and do it again. Right, if you had children with a woman and you are gonna leave her, don't go off and get nobody else pregnant, bro. You probably should stay by yourself because you got her pregnant and didn't go right. You probably need to figure some things out about yourself. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't agree that you should stay with a woman just because you had children by her. Some women, they rambunctious, and it's just like there's nothing you can do about it, and it'll probably cause more harm to stay with her than it would to leave her, right? But you should never leave your children. I don't agree with that. However, right, she was making it seem like men just run off and they just go do their thing, and it's his loss and all that. It's actually your loss, though. In my opinion, it's actually your loss, because I don't even want to speak anecdotal, right? Guys are able to go off, right? He's more than likely going, unless unless he actually is just like, you know, a bullshit dude. More than likely he gonna be able to move on and get something better than what you was. And I'm not talking about looks wise. I'm talking about if you was nagging him and you was being disrespectful and always in his face and always this and that, what you think was holding him accountable, this and that. Men are forced to be held accountable. Y'all don't hold us accountable. We supposed to hold ourselves accountable and check ourselves, and then therefore we supposed to hold you accountable. The man is the leader. He's supposed to be a leader. If you're not with a leader, then I mean you messed up anyway. But if the man is a true leader, he's gonna hold himself accountable and he's gonna fix the things that he's doing wrong. You shouldn't have to tell him about it. He should already be trying to work on himself every day and become a different and better man every single day. And therefore, he should be telling you about yourself, because women are not built to do that. Women don't, wake up and try to make themselves. Women are the ones who lack and skirt accountability, in my opinion. Just like right now in this video, this woman is trying to console the other single mothers and tell her it's not you, it's him. It could have absolutely been you. It could have absolutely been you. Would you think just because you're a woman that you just can do whatever you want and the man is just supposed to stay with you? Like, no. Now, I'm not knocking. It could absolutely have been him as well, right? But for you to just jump up and say, Well, it wasn't you, sister. You know what I'm saying? For sure, it wasn't you. Believe it wasn't you. It was him. Like, that's a bold statement. I wouldn't even make no statement like that. I wouldn't even tell dudes like, hey, look, it was her, bro. And blah, blah. Nah, it could have been you. It could have been her. You never know. It's situational, right? It depends on the situation and you know how y'all conducted yourself in a relationship. But what I will tell you is I don't agree with nothing that she said as far as how men conduct themselves and not taking accountability and running off to find a different woman and just leaving their kids behind. I don't even think majority of men do that, right? And honestly, I think if you had majority of men, at least the ones that I know, if you took majority of men, at least the ones that I know, right, and asked them if they would rather take custody of their child and let the woman go off to do her thing, right? Or let the woman take custody of the child and you go off and do your thing. If you ask majority of the guys that I know, they would rather take custody of the child and just let her do her thing, right? Because we do not skirt accountability. Like I just told you, we do not skirt accountability or responsibility. A man is going to be forced to be responsible in his life. He's going to be forced to be accountable. I don't care how much you run from it as a man. It's going to chase you down, hawk you down, and chew you up and spit you out, man. That's just the way the game go. You might as well embrace it because that's the life of a man. You know what I mean? And I don't expect women to understand this because women aren't men, right? You're not going to understand this. You're not going to ever be able to understand this. You're just going to constantly... She's saying men don't like change and, you know, they lack accountability and all this stuff. But what is she doing in the video? She's not taking any type of accountability. She's throwing it all on the man, right? With the children crying, talking in the background. You know, but from listening to her, in my opinion, she sounds like the kind of woman you would leave. I'm gonna be honest with you. She sounds like the kind of woman you would leave. Now, me personally, like I said, I would agree with the man taking the kids because it's our job to be accountable and responsible anyway. I would agree with him taking the kids and him just raising the children. You know what I mean? And letting you go off and do your thing. But I tell you one thing you're not going to hear if that was the case. You're not going to hear a bunch of dudes on the internet complaining about them having to raise the children and the woman running off. You might hear a few, right? I'm not saying you wouldn't hear none. You probably would hear a few, right? But I don't think you would hear majority of dudes if the women chose to, if the court system was reversed and the men got the children or the child, and the women were able to go off and do their own thing, right? I think that you would see that most men probably wouldn't put them on child support because men are very benevolent. No matter what you try to say about men, we are very benevolent, very kind. I've seen dudes let women get away with the most horrific type of stuff, bro. And the only thing I've seen women let men get away with is cheating. You know what I mean? Like I've seen men let women get away with some horrific stuff, like horrific. You know, I'm talking about breaking windows, keying cars, flat tires. Ruining all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Burning money. Like I've seen some horrific things, man. You know what I mean? So I mean, one thing that I think that you wouldn't see is like men on the internet. Most men on the internet complaining that they had to raise their children and the woman was off doing her thing. I think that he would just eat it up, and that's being accountable. That's being responsible. He would just eat it up. He just bite the bullet, eat it up. He probably wouldn't even tell people that. He probably tell people he's a single father, but he wouldn't tell them, oh yeah, my baby mama off running around. I bet you a lot of people that she meets, she probably be telling them about her baby daddy. He just left these kids because he a piece of shit. Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't think you would see most men doing that. You know. But hey, who knows how the world will go? Maybe we'll see that one day. You know, maybe we'll see that. You know. But that's my opinion. Make sure y'all leave your opinion down in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all think. And yeah, man, I appreciate y'all, man, checking in with me. Make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.